Alright, hello. Welcome back. We're back from the last pause we did. A few changes have been made. I've modified the place quite a bit. Not an awful lot. I suppose I probably did more when I constructed new rooms, but at this time, I'm also low on oxygen. But at this time, what I've basically done is just moved stuff around, really, more than anything. I made a few small things, but not too much. So, one of the things I did while I was away, or while we were away, was I built a liquid transfer node because I wanted to automatically pipe lava into the generator. Because it's kind of annoying to have to constantly bucket lava into it, so I just wanted to make this a bit of a smoother process. And all I have to do to use this new system is come over here and grab the lava here. Which I don't have much, but I don't really need that much lava at the moment anyway. And then just put it over onto that node. I've been wanting to get one of these because I hate moving buckets into there. It's quite slow, and I've got other things to focus on. Plus, I can always keep a surplus of lava in there because lava generation's fairly slow. So as of right now, I've been using the internal storage buffer to deal with most of my power generation. And just moving this by hand back and forth to power this. I've generated a few resources, but not an awful lot. I've used up like all of the moon rock, and I'm just now getting into moon dirt pretty much. And I've sifted a bit of sand. Like, sand is the best thing for us to sift because it will give us resources like gold. Because gold is extremely rare in the dirt, but in the rock, I don't think there's any gold at all. So, it's a bit of a problem when I need gold, because I think I needed gold for something. I don't quite remember. Was it the sprinkler? No. I made a sprinkler, by the way. I wanted to make a reservoir or a tank or something. I suppose I can just use a normal tank and some buckets of water, because I can't pipe into the sprinkler infinite water right now. And the reservoir takes quartz glass. I didn't realize. Because quite clear glass is made by Ender.io, but quartz glass is a different type of glass that's very much like clear glass. And I don't have that right now because it requires me to make... Yeah, fused quartz glass requires me to make a alloy smelter, which I'm pretty sure is not cheap. Let's look at it. Yeah, dash ingots, that'll be what kills it. I need to go into space. I've realized recently that a lot of this is kind of capped by me not going to other places. Like, I can't get ender pearls without going to asteroids, which I don't really understand too well. I'm not going to question it, though. But the problem I'm having is that I don't have dash ingots, and dash ingots are on Mars, so I want to go to Mars. That's the plan. Also, it might be a good idea to make a space station at some point, but I don't know. Like, I need to find some way to get better resources. Because as of right now, I'm sifting, moon rock and stuff, and it's not really all that great. I can maybe make a crap ton of iron, but there's still a lot that I'm missing. So, it's a bit of a problem. What else has changed other than that? I got the lava fuel. I added the battery. I added 2 more batteries. This is now the central power for the entire station so far. This simple capacitor. And the only way to fill it, which is not very good, is to go over here, mine up the battery, take it with me, and it's at, 75% right now? And just smack it onto here. It drains into there. Then I mine it, and it takes back half the power it collected, so it's less than 75% now. But like, if this battery were full, I would have a 1/3 of all of the power. Right? I don't know. I just know that this would have much less, but not that much less. Like, this isn't a one-way direction system. I plan to upgrade one of these batteries to a level beyond. Into a capacitor bank. And I imagine that this will be different, so thus I can put it on top and then drain power in. But as of right now, all I've got is this capacitor block. I need another one of these, basically, and some other resources to make a capacitor bank. Oh, That's not very promising. Not gonna worry about that, though. That's not the issue. It is a issue, but it's not the issue. So what else changed here? We've got a new oxygen setup. As you know, this is where the oxygen setup used to be. There used to be trees over here on the sides, and those are pumping oxygen into this little oxygen compressor and the oxygen collector. So now what I've done to change this is I've actually moved quite a bit of that to somewhere else, to the oxygen room downstairs. So now this capacitor is wired up to the basement and is wired to here. So this is the oxygen compressor. It works much like it always has. Requires 40 oxygen per second. Needs power, and oxygen power is coming from here. As you can see, 15 drain. So plenty of power to deal with this. It's very slow, and I put a there used to be a small battery storage underneath the star to make sure that you would always have power for the oxygen compressor. And I've moved that to down in the middle around here where we can't see it. I've added a hatch, because we didn't used to have a hatch here. And now if we go down to the basement, we'll see the oxygen room, which is literally just the oxygen collector, which is generating 216 per second because of all the leaves. There's much more leaves here than there used to be originally. And these leaves are player placed, so I don't have to worry about them despawning. They won't break down. So I can just leave them there, and that's good. And if I wanted to increase the amount of oxygen it collects, I can put in more leaves, but I don't really want to expand any further than this. But at some point I will need to, because this isn't enough to, like, seal the upstairs, I don't think. So that's concerning. But I'll worry about that later. Right now, the way this works is it collects oxygen, pipes it down, and then up to there, to the oxygen collector, to the oxygen compressor, and it will fill my tanks with that. So that's pretty good. It's getting power from upstairs as well. So I suppose this is really the thing that's taking most of the power from the battery upstairs. But, yeah. Pretty good, simple system for oxygen. Not too bad. It's a bit nicer because it's not in the way. Because I didn't want it up here in the first place, so it gives me a lot more room to do whatever I want in here. So this is probably going to be one of my main sections for dealing with most things that I can. Which is why the compressor and that are all over here, or the decomposer and synthesizer are both here. They usually would connect to this to get power, but I've disabled that in the configuration. So I've disabled them. It's interesting, this, you can actually, I think I already kind of talked about this, how you can shift right click and turn it into little different bars and stuff. I don't really know what this one's about. The input-output doesn't seem to actually mean anything. I don't know. Because I don't think it changes. Whatever. What else changed? Storage. Storage changed. I had to bring down a few chests and move some stuff, which required me to make a dolly. And what the dolly does is it allows me to, as I'm sure we've seen it in like Agrarian Skies and such, but it allows me to pick up chests that are full. and move them around with all the stuff in them. So that was very helpful during the sorting starting. I've also built a cursor, which allows me to interact with a block from a distance, and they don't have the level requirement for the cursor on in this one. So that means it doesn't cost me any levels to actually go up and use it. So now, if I don't click on a wall by accident, I can click because I've set it to that middle chest, and I can actually look at that middle chest. I broke it. Somehow. Oh no, wait. There it goes. Why is it not working there? Oh, wait a minute. Is it taking levels now? What the hell? Because I could have sworn I had more levels than this. I have no idea. If it's taking levels, then I don't know what happened, because it was working fine for a long time. Yeah, it might have been taking levels. I don't understand. I wasn't in creative, was I? I don't think so. Whatever. I don't plan to actually stay with this anyway. I plan to adjust my stuff, but this is concerning, though, now. Oh well. It just costed a bit of wool. Wasn't all that expensive. I mean, that's all it is. But anyway, that was to interact with this from afar, but apparently there's a problem now. So with the sorting chest, the way it works is I've changed a few things because my original setup, right, we had was to put in one of the filter items that aren't already in the inventory, and you can turn off metadata and NBT data, but this doesn't. I don't know what this does exactly. I feel like it doesn't quite work. I don't know. I've had issues with this, so I don't bother with this anymore, and I definitely don't want it on these other ones, because it will stop them from searching and putting them into there. Because one of the issues I had, right, was trying to sort out Mindchem stuff. I wanted to put Mindchem's resources in here. And what that meant was I tried using the checklist based on creative tabs, which allows me to actually go to Mindchem. Where is it? There it is. And check it off. But the thing is, this doesn't work because it's a modded piece. Now, if I went to combat or brewing or materials, maybe, I don't know about this one. These are default creative tabs. This is what you get in Minecraft. It puts them in there by itself. So these would work for the sorting chest here. But it doesn't work for some other things. So, like if I put it on TARDIS mod, it's not going to collect TARDIS items. I don't quite know why. However, one of the great things while looking in the settings here, in this little sorting chest filter, is that when you mouse over things, I think if I shift, no, what is it? Oh, here we go. If I have my mouse over something while I'm looking at the sorting chest, it puts up this little side thing underneath it. You can see tab electrical age. That's the tab creative-wise that it would have. So if I went to creative tabs and put it to electrical age, in theory, it would take these items from electrical age and put them in. But for some reason, that creative stuff doesn't work, so I have to do it slightly different. However, if you use the ORDICT prefix, you can use the exclamation mark, right? And if we look at Mindchem stuff, Mindchem. These have a tab. Oh, no, never mind. I was looking at it wrong. But that tab right there, you see Mindchem Elements, that's the tab it would be under in Creative. But if you shift over it, it puts in an OR dictionary names, elements, S. And what you can do is you can take that first part, element, from each one of them. They all have element first. And I can use that OR dictionary name to put in this part, and it'll sort out anything with the name element in it. Same for molecule. And that allows me to put in all the stuff that we have in here. It'll just automatically sort these now because those connect to those are actually referenceable. So it will use those. That's good. I did want to protect against some things, though. I don't want my nanotubes going there, so I had to make another tab, which was blacklisting nanotubes. And that was the simple way to deal with it. I'm still working on nanotubes. Carbon nanotubes are way more difficult than I thought originally, but I still think that it was worth it to pick what I did pick when I was considering. I picked gold, I think it was. It was definitely way more worth it to pick gold because of the benefits of gold. They're actually a little bit more useful in that I can make sorting chests. I think there was some other stuff I could do, so it was worth it to get that. But I've gone through basically and set up all sorts of little filters. So I've got the Mine Chem chest. I've got a dyes chest that ignores lapis. See, as you can see, oh no, never mind. That ignores lapis. I've got a food chest that collects all foods. A mob drop chest and mob chest for the spawners. This one's a bit complicated. I actually have to do this one by hand because there isn't a mob drop one. There is a mob drop one, but I don't want to include all mob drops because I think zombies can drop iron sometimes, so that would theoretically include iron in this list if I were to put it on mob drops. Plus, there are some mob drops that I might want to collect that I couldn't with other ones. So, like a creeper head, I don't think that's a mob drop, that's just a skull. So, doesn't really work. We've got our valuables here. We've got our mined items, like diamond, coal, glowstone, stuff like that. Then our crushed items. I also noticed I had misspelled crushed and put an H in, but I fixed that. So now it sorts correctly. And we've got a ingots chest, which also includes nuggets. So that'll store all of those. Pretty simple. And then we've got this base chest, which just has 2 equals. This is the new way I deal with anything I have just for default, because I don't know what else to type in here, because if I type in a word, I feel like it would link to something. I know nothing's going to have 2 equal signs in it, so not a problem. And that'll keep this all sorted. These things don't belong here, but they can't go anywhere else, so they stay here. I think I'm supposed to put Fallen Meteor into this one, but I don't really know if I believe it belongs, so I haven't done that. I don't think I have a use for a meteor. I think I'll just take that and break it down. And that's in here now. There it is. I think that's it for storage, so that's the storage chains that was done. It's a pretty nice storage system, but there's going to be a change soon enough, because I noticed some other things. So let's go for, what is it, storage, just I guess. So we got black hole storage is okay, but I think it only stores one type of item, so I don't want to mess with this. I don't really think it's useful. It'll be useful for cobblestone, I'll do that eventually, but not right now, because I need to do a quest on it anyway. We can't use modular systems because that'll crash the game. And the sorting chests, as nice as they are a little bit crappy. In that I have to program each one of these chests to store something specific, which I don't really care an awful lot. It's nice to have a chest to go to and be like, okay, well, there's the dyes, where's my ingots, here's my ore. You know, simple stuff. But when it starts getting more elaborate, it's going to be more complicated and annoying. And it's going to be like, okay, well, where's the dye? Where am I going to find lapis? Well, it's a dye. Oh, no, wait, but it's actually a mined material, but then maybe there's lapis ore blocks, so that goes under like an ore block chest or something, and it's just like, It's nice to have it all in one field right underneath you to deal with. As well as it access wirelessly, which I thought I had to some degree. I can access it from here without any problems, but it's really close by here, so I don't really want to bother. I think if I'm upstairs, though, this is beneficial, because I can just basically, run across, stop in the middle hallway, and I should be able to access it from here. There we go. Oh, that took all my levels. Okay, so it is using levels. There it goes. I guess I'll just ban this item now. GG game. Whatever. There's a way to deal with that. what we're going to do is upgrade to RF Tools storage scanner. No, modular storage. Here it is. I knew it was one of these. I didn't think it was this one. And what I do is I create one of these. It's actually quite cheap, surprisingly, except for this nether quartz, which is going to be the most painful thing. I don't know where I'm going to get that. The easiest way to do it would probably be to build a... Because I can't go to the nether. There is no nether. I've visited the real world, and I will tell you... I visited the Earth, and I will tell you that Earth floating in the sky shouldn't be there. That's how bad we messed that place up. It's literally gone. So, it's interesting, but I'm not going to remove it or anything, but it's just, it's interesting to have shown up to the world and found that there's absolutely nothing. I figured that it would just be like generated crap and that we would just be ignoring it. The easiest way to do this would probably be through synthesis. For now. Because if I can synthesize some nether quartz ore, and all I have to do is get silicon dioxide. This isn't too bad. This is just sand and some oxygen. And then gallium arsenide. That's the part that's going to be difficult. That would be gallium. I don't know where gallium comes from. I don't think it comes from anything in particular. Like gallium is probably the more simple one to get. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But basically, what I can do to create some of these, like this is item 31. So, if I get a Mindchem building, I forget what it is, tungsten platings. It uses tungsten platings. There's a fusion chamber, I think it is. And what that'll allow me to do is to take a nether star and use it up to combined things. It's a bit like an atom smasher of sorts. It'll fuse the items together. So if, let's say that I have, what is it? Is it oxygen that's 8? Yes. So if I take 2 oxygens, and crash them into each other, I can merge them to create 16, which is 8 times 2, because there was 2 oxygen. So then, with 2 oxygen, I can get sulfur. Right? But let's say, now this is pretty easy when you have even elements, because even's the easiest thing to do, because you get a hydrogen and another hydrogen, well, there's your 2. And then 2 and 2 makes 4, and 4 and 4 makes 8, and 4 and 2 makes 6, Pretty easy to do even. However, if you want an odd resource, you have to include a hydrogen at some point to just roll it over by 1. Or throw in something like a nitrogen or something, which has 7. There's 1 more in there. But the odd numbers are rarer to get easily broken down, because I think they're a little bit less stable, maybe? I don't quite know. I just know that they're a lot harder to get, and the easiest way to deal with it is usually just throw in a hydrogen, but that's really low level, and the higher the things you combined, the better and more efficient you are. So let's say I want something like 80, it'd be best to combine 2 40s than it would be to combine like 300 2s or something, So, yeah, but the thing is that a fusion chamber takes quite a bit of space. This room wouldn't be able to hold it, just because I think it's taller than this room by 1. And it's also about as wide as this room is as well. So, I can't remember. The projector will tell me. Wherever I put it. I don't think it's in the basement. It should be... There it is. The issue is I don't think it has the blueprint, though. I need to make the blueprint for it. It's quite interesting that they didn't give me the blueprint. I mean, technically I can build this without the blueprint machine if I just know what I'm doing, but it's been a while. That's a bit more expensive than I'd like. I could just look it up. And there's a fission chamber. A fusion chamber is what I need to actually combine items, but a fission chamber will break them down, but it requires radioactive material. kind of like, I think the way it would work is that you'd have something radioactive. So, like, let's say uranium. I think plutonium is a bit more radioactive than uranium. Uranium's kind of medium. I don't know. Let's say you got plutonium, right? Super radioactive. You point it at a material, and then it, like, blasts it with radiation. This is my kind of view of what might be happening for that. And it, like, as it hits it with radiation, it strips off some of the electrons. And that converts it to a different material. Kind of breaks it down. That's my idea of what they're trying to do. Oh, what? Didn't there used to be a spike up there? Why is there not a spike there? So I imagine it, like, rips off some electrons, and actually it's not electrons that make an element, is it? It's the nucleus. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to... Because I don't think you can use radioactive elements to break down other elements. You can use radioactive elements to break down themselves, because they're radioactive. But I don't think you can, like, hit oxygen with radioactive stuff and break it down into 2 4s, you know? I don't think that's how it works. But I don't know. I don't actually know all that much about elements. Oh, look, I'm breaking down dirt now, which is pretty useless. I'm, like, reaching that point where I'm just destroying useless materials. I do need to destroy the dirt, though, because I need pumpkin seeds for one of the quests. And then after that, I'm pretty much done with all of the quests, sifting requests. Oh dear. Alright, so let's go over here and just drop in all this useless stuff. Alright, good. I've got quite a few diamonds. Those will be useful. I can actually probably turn one of those. Should I? I don't know. Is diamond terribly useful? I know it's useful for a lot, but it's probably not that useful. Because it's so important in a general kind of sense, you know? Like, you just need it for really high-end stuff, and you only need a few of them. So I don't really know. I didn't realize a golden bag used that. Oh, there's an electrical drill. That might be a way to mine. Possibly. I don't know. I definitely need to make a diamond hammer, but I don't really need that right now. Yeah, I don't think I have much use for a diamond. It's just kind of general stuff. And the thing is, I will eventually get diamond from something, so I don't need to worry about that. So I think I will use this up for this, even though it does seem kind of like a waste. Because I kind of know... I know the projector doesn't do anything other than show me. But it would be nice to have just like a simple guideline rather than... I don't know. I feel a little bit like it's cheating, you know, to just build it. Oh, well, there's the dimensions, too. 13 by 13 by 5. So it's 5 tall, but 13 by 13. That's bigger than my room upstairs, I'm pretty sure. 13 by 13. Sounds a lot larger than I remember it. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't invest in it. I mean, I really could just look it up. It's not that hard. Oh. It's tough, because I'm questioning how much of a cheaty kind of move it is. It's not really that much cheating. I know it's not, but I feel like this pattern is this way, so why not? It'd be nice if the quest actually required it, because then I would have no choice. But it doesn't. Oh, also, because I made that liquid one, that liquid fluid duct. Oh, and the dally. I've got a few things that have completed. I don't know. There's nothing that. Where is? I was bad at math. That's the one. I don't think anything. Calcium carbonate's what? I don't think that's radioactive. I don't know. What is it? Maybe I should try to go down the tree a bit before I go off. No, wait, here it is. Fission. It just wants me to make a tungsten. Okay, it wants me to make a lot of them. Fusion. It wants a fusion wall. It doesn't want a pattern, though. And it didn't give me one. I don't know.